Hello everyone, and welcome to another Wicked Gameplay episode. Today we're in Prepared, and we're looking at the pretty amazing PMDG 737 NGX, and definitely has a reputation for being high quality, as all aircraft from PMDG do. I have to admit, it is a very, very nice aircraft, and I was relatively excited to get it, but my main reason actually for buying this aircraft was to get familiar with the 737 for when the IXEG 737 for X-Plane comes out. But now I've started flying it, I really do enjoy this aircraft because it is done so well. Let's just jump around and have a quick look at some of these shots here. We're at Melbourne International Airport here in Australia. I have turned down some of the settings here because my computer is just not really liking the high settings, so I've had to turn some of that down, turn some of that scenery down a little bit to make it a little bit more user-friendly on my machine, particularly while I'm recording. So here we have our pilots who are ready to go. We've got our door open here. I'm not using the jetway or anything. We're just going to be, or the gate. We're just going to be loading passengers from the stairs because, yeah, let's just assume there's a problem with the, I think it's a jetway, a gate, getting confused. Anyway, you can see it is a very nice aircraft, and really, what can you say? And the PMDG is renowned for making good aircraft. Let's jump in the cockpit and have a little look around. Here we are inside. Quite nice. Very wet here in Melbourne. Typical Melbourne weather, actually. It does rain quite a bit. I'm from Sydney, so if you're from Melbourne, I apologise if I've offended you. But yeah, this is Melbourne Airport. This is all big scenery. And let's get started, I guess. I've done this quite a few times. I've had problems with the recordings, and that has created a few problems for me. We're going to turn some power on here. I can't actually remember what I've said each time. Let's turn the emergency lights on, and we'll turn some fuel on, and let's get the APU on. So we're waiting for the APU here now, which is going to fire up the UGT. While we're waiting on that, though, I'm going to come down here. We're going to put our brake on here. That is that. It's got a nice little checklist here of everything we need to do, but I'm not going to be following that. We're just going to do my usual and wing it. Although I wouldn't mind doing an in-depth series, but I just don't. I think these episodes are already quite long, and making them longer is just, in my opinion, just not really viable at the moment. So I might just turn some of these off. Kind of surprised these are actually on in cold and dark state, or at least how this aircraft loads. That's cool. What's going to happen is as this settles, the APU gen off bus light will come on, and then we can actually hit the generators here, and that's going to make some noise. So we've got that. Now we've got some power. We'll move up to the top up here. Oops. Still getting used to the views. We'll start our IRS alignment here by setting these both to nav. And these should go to align. And I think after 30 seconds or so, these flash. That's pretty much all I do up here. We're not going to be checking anything else. No, we're not doing any pre-flights. We're going to assume that everything is good to go. And that is all good. Okay. First things first, let's get some cargo and everything going in this aircraft. I'm going to clear that. FS options. Ground connections. I'm going to take the pitot tubes off right now. And since I have the parking brake set, I'm actually going to remove the chocks now. Iris is ready, so we can clear that. What we're going to do is go to the payload, and let's set this as full. As you can see, the aircraft bounce as it loads all those passengers. So you can see we're fully loaded here. And we're going to add fuel here, which we're going to add for this particular flight. And we're going to Sydney International Airport, or Kingsford Smith as it's known. 8,000 kilos of fuel, and that is about all we need to do here. Now, since we've got that, we're going to assume everyone's on board, and we're going to close the doors. Let's jump outside and have a little look at that. Very nice feature. I really like these airstairs. Yeah, we just saw the end of that airstairs. We've got the Bondi Beach image here with the Australian flag, and obviously Bondi Beach. We're flying Virgin Australia today, and I've already filed a flight plan to Sydney International. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here. This is almost ready for us to go to the next stage. What we'll do is get ready to start setting up our flight plan here. Get this ready, but actually before I do that, I'm just going to check everything is working for this episode, and I'll be right back and we'll continue on from there. Okay, so I'm back. Everything is looking good, so this should be a successful recording, because I have done this a lot of times already for this particular episode, and things just have not been working out for a few reasons, but I won't bore you with all that stuff. Okay, so we've got our aircraft prepared. Pardon the pun, prepared. We're going to go into FMC now and start to prepare our flight plan and set the FMS up. So we've got the nav data is out of date. I'm using AirRack 1504. My Navigraph subscription has ended, so I'll have to renew that. And we're going to be flying out of YMML, and that's cool. So we'll do that. So let's go to reference. We'll move to next page. These aren't actually exactly the same, and I believe they're supposed to be. Let's have a look at that. Okay, now, well, not very close. Let's try that again. Okay, now they're exactly the same. So, copy that into our scratch pad back and enter it into the IRS position. Okay, so you see our primary flight display lights up a little bit there. We're all good to go. So we're going to go to our route now, and we'll punch in YMML as the origin. We do have a flight number. It's VOZ 891, which is a real flight here in Oz, as we like to say. Virgin Australia 891. You can look it up on FlightAware. That's kind of where I got my idea for this flight, and we're going to be going to YSSY. I'm going to punch that into here. Go to next page, and we'll start to put our route in here. And we're going to end up changing this once we put the SID in for this area. So we're going to ML VOR. Then we're going to go to H129, the airway. And then to Y59, and you'll see it fills in Dosal. Now keep in mind, Dosal is the last waypoint for the instrument departure, so just keep that in mind. That's what we're going to be looking at when we select our instrument departure. And the final waypoint is TSAT, which is an intersection above in Sydney International Airport. Activate that and we'll execute. Let's go now to the legs, and you'll see what we've done here. So it's filled in all the waypoints along that airway. All good. Now, since we've done all that, what I'm going to do is get the ATIS.
Melbourne, airport information, Foxtrot 0017, wind 188 at 13, stability greater than 20 knots. Sky condition, few clouds at 1,100, 1,200, scattered, ceiling 2,600, broken. Temperature 13.10, altimeter 3050, ILS, runway 16 in use. Landing and departing runway 16.
Okay, so we've got the two things I really just wanted to know, which was the altimeter, which was 3050, and the runway that we're going to be leaving on is 16. So let's just deal with that, and then we'll move to the next stage. So let's go with our arrival and departure. We'll do departure, Dosal 816, transition is none. Execute that, and let's have a look at our legs. You'll see here we've got the instrument departure now, but you'll see here I've kind of created this problem with my original waypoints. You see docile here, and you see it duplicated again here. So we need to get rid of this duplication and put ebony up into this spot. So we click on delete, and we'll delete ML. We'll also delete docile. We'll click on ebony, which puts it in the scratch pad, and paste it into that discontinuity there, and then execute, and that basically will fix it. Also to note is you don't really see the flight levels here. That's because we haven't finished. If it looks like this and you try and get going, it's not going to work. Your VNav is not going to work, so you're not going to have any vertical navigation. That is not going to work. So make sure that this looks right. We're going to come back to this shortly. So we've got that. Let's go with our gross weight now. 0 fuel weight, we click. You can paste that back in. That's essentially a click, it puts it in the scratch pad, then you click it again and it pastes it back in. Reserves of 2 and a cost index of 35, which is just what I always use. And then I think the planned fuel was 6.1, and the actual fuel we're going to put in. What did I just do then? I already did this before. I'm getting confused because I paused and went and checked some other things out. So that is actually fine. Cruise altitude, we're going to put 330. That's going to be our cruise altitude right here. That fills in this. Transition altitude is 10,000 here in Australia. Cruise and winds, I'm not even going to worry about that. It's just dash. You don't have to put it in, but you can if you want to be more thorough. Here, I just always put in 40. That's just what seems to be a common number that gets put in. We can derate the engine to the different levels, like so you could reduce your thrust and climb rate, that sort of thing. What you'll see is if we go into here and we put flaps 5, we do get some V speeds, which is good, and we'll do the click, scratch pad it, and then paste it back in. And we've got our V speeds, but what I just want to show you the V speeds, not the V speeds, the derate when we get going. So we're going to derate this to 24,000, and we're going to, what am I doing? N1 limit, let's put 40 in here. Apologize for my stupidity. Derate is takeoff 1. I'm assuming that's takeoff, and climb 1, and then we'll go to takeoff. That's good, fine. This is all filled in. We've got our V speeds, V1, VR, and V2 is 148. Let's keep that in mind, and trim is 477. So we'll put our V speed in here, 148. Our V2 speed, oops. And our trim is 4.77. Trying to work out which way this goes. I got the wrong way. Perfect. Okay, so that is done. That looks good. Now we go back to our legs, and you'll see here now we have a vertical navigation here with all the vertical alignment here, vertical path going all the way up to our flight level. All good with that. So I think we've done all that there. That all looks good. I don't think I've actually missed anything. Cruise, everything looks good. Climb. We can, there's so much stuff this plane allows you to do. This FMS is really robust. It's very, very impressive. And I just have used very little of the overall features. Okay, so park brake is on. I can't actually remember what I've done in quite a few of these. Okay. So while we're doing that, let's get some takeoff taxi clearance. So we're going to request the IFR clearance.
Delivery, version 4552. Copy IFR clearance in Sydney, version 4552. It's cleared in Sydney Airport test file. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 9 south. Departure frequency is 132.0. Squawk 5564. Version 4552 cleared in Sydney Airport test file. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 9 south.
So let's fly runway heading and climb and maintain 9,000. So we'll set our 9,000 here. Just get rid of that window. You don't actually see the window. It doesn't actually record the windows, which is kind of weird. 9,000 and fly runway heading, which is going to be 160. Let's get back to 160. Cool. Okay, that is that. I think we're good to go on all that stuff. I'm pretty happy with where we're at right now. Okie dokie. Let's have a look. Alright. Let's get, we've got taxi clearance. Let's get that now, actually. Can I get that? Tune in Melbourne ground. And request taxi IFR. Acknowledge that. You can see I'm Virgin 4552, that's me, because I didn't change it to our actual flight number, which is fine. Anyway, okay, so we've got that. Let's see if I can get this right. We're going to go now to, this is all closed. Let's just make sure, ground connections. I've done this so many times, I can't remember which ones is what time I've actually done what. It's actually quite confusing. Okay, push back. We're going to go. We're going to turn our nose to the right, and let's just leave it as it is.
And ground, cockpit.
Go ahead, Captain.
Hopefully we don't get pushed in anything. No, it doesn't look
We're
like
all
it.
set to go up here. We've been cleared to push and start at your discretion.
Roger that, ready for push. Power and air are clear, doors closed. We are ready for pushback. Release parking brake, please.
Let's release the parking brake.
Okay, parking brake is off, cleared to push.
A few things I already haven't done here, so we're going to put this to. Need to get this APU bleed on. That might help. That's going to lift this up.
Here we go.
We need to get this up to around 40. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. That's not actually working. There is a certain way you actually do this. That APU's on. Let's go up to about 40 and then we can start the left engine. So I'm going to start the left engine first. Change the igniter to the right or whichever one you want to actually use. This is close to 40. That's looking pretty good. We will turn this onto ground. I might put my anti-collision lights on now. And we'll have a look at our
Push is complete. Set parking brake, please.
system here. I'll set the parking brake.
Alright, brakes are set and
You can
pressure's
see
on.
our N2's rising.
Okay, sir. Tow bar is on. Pin is out. Watch for the pin on the right.
Alright guys, thanks. You're
It's
clear
going to
to
get up to around
disconnect.
28.
We will be watching for the pin and the
We'll,
release from guidance on
add
the
some
right
fuel.
side of the airplane, and we'll see you guys next time through.
Roger that. Have a good flight.
It's looking pretty good. Oops. Looks like I've got reverse or something on there. Might be my throttles. See if we can get around to that. Start it up. Here we go. It's looking good. Clear this. This is set back to ground. Probably should have done some of this stuff here already. Your damper. I'm going to leave all those and just quickly check this. That's fine. We can probably turn on our left generator now. That is all good. Let's turn our chimes on. Should be going top to bottom. I'm pretty happy with that. And let's turn these on here. And pitot tubes. And electrics. I don't really know if it matters. Probably should let me get my act together here. Get this and set this to about 150, I think is the correct height. And we're going to turn this to ground. And let's have a look at what's actually happening over here again. lost that. I'm hoping you can actually see this screen. So this is going to get to around 28. When it does, we add extra fuel. So it's getting the compression up in the jet. And then we're going to add fuel once it's spinning fast enough, and that basically ignites it. Start valve open. You know what I haven't done? Why you should use a checklist. I'm actually teaching you why you should use a checklist. That is good. I'm going to turn the electrics on and start turning these bleeds on. Probably a bit early, but let's get our custom. Ow. What am I trying to say? I've just got a mind blank. Get our passengers comfortable. Let's see, it's actually around 20 degrees. Let's have a look. Forward cabin. That's okay. They're fine. What are they complaining about? There's nothing to complain about here. So we'll turn this on, and we've got collision lights on. We're all good. Alright, so let's close this, and we're looking pretty good to go. What I might do now is turn this onto traffic advisory and TARA. What does RA stand for again? It's to do with telling you. It says TA only. Let's test this. Let's click that for a test. Result advisory or something like that. Basically, it's going to tell you if you have traffic.
Test pass.
How to avoid that accident by telling your aircraft which way to maneuver, either up or down. I think we're good. I'm actually going to turn off the generators for the APU. I'm going to turn the APU off now, and let's just turn off the APU bleed off, and let's turn some taxi lights on. And I hope I've done everything. Also, I'm going to get ready for takeoff, so I'm going to get this ready now. Set this to flaps 5. Let's jump in the co-pilot side, and we should be on flaps 5. So we just quickly jump down there. Is that flaps 5? What am I doing? Actually, I don't have... Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. That is not going to work. Flaps 15. Oh, I've pressed it one too many times. So, maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. That says flaps 5. And this says... Oh, it is on flaps 5. It's just hard to tell. That's that detent there. I've definitely done this too many times. Okay, quick check of what we got up here. No odd lights. Everything looks good. These are on auto rate. Altitude's been set. This is all good. I'm ready to take off. Well, not take off, but taxi. I've released the brake, and we are now going to maneuver to the appropriate runway. So we get back down here again. While we do this. Are we going the wrong way? No, not quite. We'll turn. I apologise for those yellow lines, but I really don't know where I'm going. So we're moving. I have a problem today. It's been a long day. Been really busy at work, which has been somewhat frustrating. I've been wanting to get one of these episodes out for 2 weeks. And I have actually recorded it at least 2 or 3 times. But because I changed some of my PC configuration with my card and like the recording card, capture card, and it never came out any good. So I just got disappointed and didn't want to post those. So I've got a couple of other recordings of this. I should actually know how to do this like the back of my hand, but I don't, because this is a complex aircraft, and I'm still a bit of a noob. Just between me and you, don't tell anyone. So this is the Orbix Melbourne Airport. We do have some rain today, and my frames are struggling a bit. So I apologise if that's annoying. But once we get out of this airport, we should be good. Let's see if we can get some outside view that's not annoying. Turn here. This is the tail fin view. Bumpy. Engine 1. Underbelly. Underbelly. It's like the series. Never seen it. It's an Australian TV series called Underbelly about the gang wars. Okay, there is some other things I haven't done yet. We need the flight director on. I'm going to turn that on. Turn the captain's one on first. Then the first officer. I'll turn these on. Although I know they tell me the DMEs and stuff like that, but to be honest, I'm not really using them because I'm not really looking for that. So yeah, I definitely could do things a lot better. So for those people that really want me to do it better, I apologise. But these, you know, I've said this a few of my comments to people, is these episodes are not to be accurate. I'm not trying to be accurate. I'm actually just trying to make it somewhat entertaining, hopefully. And, you know, at least do it in a reasonable amount of time. Because really, 1 hour to me is quite long. And I don't really like breaking them up, so I just leave them an hour and be done with it. So. Okay, let's call tower. I'll turn off progressive taxi and we'll call tower. Let them know we're ready for takeoff. What actually happened there? Tune to Melbourne ground. Tune to tower. Oh, here it is. Request takeoff. Okay, so we've done that. Let's get some runway lights on and the landing lights on. Quick check. Altitude set. That. Landing altitude. Flight altitude. Runway heading is on. First 9,000 we're going to climb to, and a V2 speed of 148. Flight directors are on. I think we're pretty good to go. Turn our radar on as well for some weather. And I think I'm pretty happy. I think I haven't missed anything this time around. Oh. Yes, we want to put these onto flight in case there's a problem in flight. So we'll roll out onto the runway. Okay. VNav on and LNav on. You can see they're both working, which means we've seem to have configured everything correctly. Alrighty, let's line this up a little bit more. Flaps are down, gears down, obviously. Projected takeoff is on. Spoilers are disarmed. All good. I'm feeling comfortable. Alright, let's get this up to about 40% in one. Brakes are on. 40%, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just hit the button here under the left hand course, which activates takeoff thrust. Did that do it? What is it? Oh, I didn't have an auto thrust on. There you go. Alright, now we're good. There you go. I didn't follow the checklist. I missed the auto thrust. Oh my god. We're so lucky. Probably should have went around. Like, reset. Lost a bit of runway there. That could affect our overall takeoff. Okay, so we're past 30 knots. airspeed's alive.
V1.
V1.
Rotate.
Rotate.
V2.
Rotating. Not too much, it will have a tail strike. It's going to manually fly this. I really don't know when to put the flaps up. I'm going to go flaps up now, at least one stage. I'll have to pay a bit more attention to the documentation. I'm just following the flight director now. And I think what I might do, acknowledge that handoff. And I'm going to go to autopilot so we can focus on this. Gear up. Just reduce some drag. Okay, so we're supposed to tune to Melbourne approach, contact them. .030. So it's not going to allow us to follow the SID, that's fine. So let's just tell them, yeah, we're fine with that. This just makes it a little bit more interesting and a bit more challenging. Okay, good. I think what I did was I put my flaps up too early. We've got basically IMC, yeah, visibility is basically no visibility right now. Let's jump outside and have a quick look. Flaps are up, gear is up, we're pretty good. We're going to be turning around. Interesting way they turned us there. Okay, so we'll just acknowledge that instruction. And we'll turn 005. And basically what they're going to do is intercept our course. You can see where we're going here. We'll have a look here. You can see our runway heading, and we're going to intercept and continue our normal route after Sally here further down. Have I missed anything here? No. I think we're good. Okay, oh, oops. What is that doing? Got my mouse stuck. My view. Oh, that's what I didn't do. I forgot to do that. I didn't set this 3050. That's crazy. Okay, it's taxi lights off, runway lights off. We'll leave that. We'll turn these back to general. I don't know if I just broke something then. These guys are driving me insane. This is why we need an autopilot. Let's get this altimeter right. Zero 030 15,000. These guys are crazy. So I think they said 15,000. I'm hoping that's what they said. Let's do this. And come on, come on. And what we're going to do is, since they've actually given us that clearance, we're going to hit altitude intervention. We'll see the N1 light up, and that means it's going to climb up again. So we're almost at 10,000, so this is kind of going to be... I need to get this thing. Gone the wrong way. These guys won't leave me alone. That's why I want to get onto Vaxim or something like that, so it's all voice. I'm trying to do that. So we can actually hit standard barrow, but we can still adjust this, which is kind of nice. 3050. Let's get this from where we actually need it to be. Busy. We're behind. 3050. God, 3050. Alright, good. Alright, now we're there. Finally, we're getting somewhere. Whew, we're getting somewhere. I've turned them off. Everything is looking good. Actually, I should actually have a look. Center tanks. I never actually turned the center tanks on, but we do have some fuel in there, so we're going to use that and get those cleared. That's good. And away we go. So let's jump outside and have a little look. I think we're pretty good now. We're going to intercept that course pretty soon. Here it is outside. There's some wing shot there. See some little bit of wing flex. It's quite cloudy out here. Look at that. Got lots of cloud cover here. A little bit of bump in the tail. Nice engine shot. And of course, the beautiful lady flying the Aussie flag and the world-renowned Bondi Beach. Look at that cloud cover from Active Sky Next. Jump back in. They busted my chops again. Okay. 270. So we want to climb again. So we're still flying runway heading at the moment. Oops. 270. Altitude intervention, and one lights up again. It starts our climb. Okay, so what have we got here? We're getting pretty close to returning to our own course, so we're going to intercept our course and continue on. Another thing I probably should be doing here is setting the barrow radio. Should be 220 because we're going to do an ILS approach because it lands a lot better than I do. And if you've seen some of my previous videos, and some people take them really seriously, I mean, I don't really spend that much time trying to get the landings right or even caring that it's not 100% perfect. You know, it's just, this is about enjoyment for me. Enjoying learning how to fly, and you know, I don't expect to be able to fly a real aircraft. I should turn this off. Based on what I learned in a simulator, this is just for me understanding systems. That's where I get most of my enjoyment, not about being super accurate. And one of the reasons is because when I do start flying for real, I don't really want to get myself in a routine that may be incorrect. I'd rather be wrong now and right in the real world. That's kind of the way I see it. So, you know, I really don't practice trying to get all this sorted and correct because I don't want to be getting myself in bad habits when I start flying for real. And I'm hoping with some changes hopefully coming out. Oops, I got to resume my navigation. That is going to happen soon, but that's dependent on what happens in the job market and if I can secure one of these jobs that I'm looking at. Current job's great, but just looking for more finances to live out my dreams, so to speak, and go flying. I'd really like to get my at least you can do a recreational pilot certificate here in Australia. Costs about somewhere between $8,000 and $12,000 depending on which school you go to. And that's basically what I'm going to be looking into. At least the recreational, and then move on to the private pilot. And then continue on. I want to do like the IFR ticket and all that sort of stuff. So I don't expect that to happen in the short term. It's something I definitely want to do and feature some of that on the channel as well. Take us up in, you know, probably something pretty safe, like a little Cessna 150 that is not going to be overwhelming. And never know, maybe one day, maybe even buy my own plane. Like a second airplane. So that would be an interesting exercise. Just a quick look outside before we move on. All big scenery. Active Sky Next. PMDG. What more can you ask for? You're prepared. Okay, so I think we're looking really good here. So we're going to zoom out and have a little look. This is our flight path here. We've got quite a while away to our top of climb. What I'm going to do is end the finish here, and we'll come back in when we're coming to top of descent and move from there to the next stage, so you don't have to sit here with me and look at these clouds. Okay, I'll see you shortly. Okay, so we're coming up to, just let me get this, still getting used to this thing. We're coming up to top of descent, and I want to get ATC to descend us down early. Looking at our flight plan, probably around 2,500 decrease, request altitude decrease. Let's try for 7,000, see what we get. Great. Oops. So 260, we're going to put this here. 260. Okay. And we're about 10 out, I think. So we can go to here and put descend and descend now and execute. So we're doing that. That's great. So now we're back to there. We'll go to initial reference. We might as well start getting prepared for flap speed. 30 and 150. Another thing we might want to do is choose our arrival. Now I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm assuming if we're lucky it will be 3-4 left, and I'll just see if I can find 3-4 left here. I'll just pick the top one. I'm not really sure what the different letters are for, but I'm sure someone will tell me. So legs. Now let's have a little look what that looks like. We need to fix this. We've got a discontinuity here. We've got the rivet arrival again. Not the rivet arrival, but the rivet start of the that star. So we're going to delete this TSAT here. We'll delete this particular one here, and we'll put Tammy there, and that should give us the correct path, and it's recalculated everything, which is great. We are descending. It's fine, we're descending at a fairly slow rate because we're descending early, but I'd rather do that and be in a better position when we get to our arrival. Now you'll also notice when we look at this route here, you've got vectors, so we're going to expect vectors from ATC. Now ATC in FSX and Prepared, at least as far as I understand, is for the little amount of usage that I've flown with it, is it doesn't follow SIDS and stars. You need a third-party application or fly on VATSIM or one of the other networks. So that just trips this up a little bit. So we'll have to follow ATC's instruction in terms of direction. This is what we're going to be doing here. 3050, that's all good. So we're just going to make a slow descent. We're going to continue following ATC's instructions, and we'll be back once we have descended down and sort of coming in. I'll bring us back when we're just lining up for the approach. So we're going to be coming in to the right here. They are going to actually take further out to the right and then go back left here and align with the runway. So I think I've actually done everything I need to do. We probably also want to do is, we've got our flap speed, we're going to come in at flaps 30, 150 knots, and we might as well set our ILS for 110.1 just in case that is what we do get. So there's our ILS, so that'll be all set up, ready to go. What are we looking at to me? Yeah. So it's probably going to start to descend us. Hopefully a little bit faster. We're trying to get to 26,000, which is a little bit past Cullen. And that's kind of not ideal. Let's have a little look. We'll get this particular one. Following our route here. So Cullen, we should be flight level 29, 211 at Terrell. So we're actually doing okay in terms of our descent profile. And we want to get down to, eventually we're going to get down to 4,000 and intercept the glide slope. What else can we do? So I've set up that. I've set the ILS to be correct. There's nothing really up here to do at this stage. Okay, well, we just wait and follow ATC instruction.
4552, you are 6 miles southwest, turn left heading 360, expect vectors ILS, runway 16 right, approach.
Okay, so we got 16 right.
Expect vectors ILS, runway 16 right, approach.
Heading 360. Oops, which is there, I guess. Heading. And turn left heading 360, expect ILS runway 16. So we need to get this thing sorted then. We've got to change some things around. Which runway? 16. Right. So let's have a look at our arrival now. Arrival. We'll have to change this. We'll do the rivet and 16. Right. Not sure what these letters are. I just don't know what they are. I'll try Y and hope for the best. Someone, if you do know what that means, please let me know. Okay, so that's good. We can still go with same, except now we're going to do 109.5 and 155 is the course. So ILS of 109.5. So let's do that now. So we'll punch that into here. 109.5 and 109.5. And that's all good. So they're taking us around and then back around to the right here. So it's actually quite bumpy. Let's just check what this looks like now. Oops. So we've got to fix this up again. Boogie T set. Then what? Yeah, they're going to be complaining. We'll just do this. Go down to 1,000. This is a bit tricky. Oh, we're going to be flying the heading anyway, so. Well, we are. So let's just bring that down a bit more. We'll try about 1800. Okay, so let's just remove. I'm not really sure about this one. Remove TSAT, and then we'll punch in this and put this here. Hopefully. That's a bit tricky. It's kind of like doing a little U-turn. Maybe we can actually take Boogie out. I mean, and put in this fix here and execute, and that would make it a little bit of a smoother turn. But we'll see. But we're following vectors anyway, so I'm not really sure what the process is when you need to follow vectors in that case. So let's get rid of this. We'll close this down. And let's start preparing for this here. So we really want to start slowing this particular aircraft down. I'm going to start hitting speed brakes. We need to get this speed down, or we're going to be going way too fast. We are exceeding the speed limit. We've got our speed brakes on already. Turn right. Try and get down a little bit faster here. Into the tower. Okay, hopefully we can execute this. We're not doing too bad. Our speed is a little bit high, but we are going to make the localizer here, I think. Just barely. If we get this, we're just going to make it, so I'm not going to slow us down, even though we are exceeding the speed limit. But this ATC should have actually been getting us down faster than where we were. You can see we actually are getting this back, and we're just going to intercept this final approach fix here. Pretty close to that anyway, so. And we'll intercept this localizer. We're right on the glide slope. We're just barely going to get that. Just getting underneath it now. Speed brakes are fully armed. Trying to get us slowed down, but we're actually going quite fast. Normally we'd go into a hold, but I'm not going to do that. I just want to get us down on the ground. You know, we could extend our landing gear. This should really be in the down position, to this position. Now that we're getting prepared for this, I'm going to put these on flight. We're going to leave those till we get further down. So yeah, we actually are exceeding the speed quite a bit. So we see the VOR lock has captured. So that's actually going to turn us now. That's actually quite good. We're going to start slowing down, and what I'm going to do is just hit the approach button shortly, and then we can capture the glide slope. So I'm going to hit approach.
2500.
Okay, so we're looking reasonably good. Set our heading for... Oops, not that. That's not what I wanted to do. Slow us down. Get us down to maybe 240. That's fine. Might just align our heading a bit over here to 155. And bring this in a little bit. First stage of flaps. I think I'm doing this wrong. I'm going to turn the runway lights on. I'm going to turn the taxi lights on now. So, glide slope has been captured. I'm going to start putting my... I think... Put our gear down. Put the second autopilot on. Start slowing us down. I'm going to go to 180. Let's go to 180. Yeah, still going quite fast, so we need to start slowing down. Okay, so brakes are on too. Got the speed brakes on. I'm going to have to turn them off soon. We're still actually way too fast really for our current position. Start getting these flaps. Would have been good to come in from the Botany Bay side. Let's get this down. Let's get this down to our approach speed. It'll be about 155. So we're doing alright. Not perfect by any stretch, but we're doing okay. So that's all good. Landing lights, everything's on. Let's fire up the APU and get ready for that. What are we? Flaps?
1,000.
We'll go flaps 30. So here we are as we come in. What I need to do is get off my... and arm the speed brakes. Okay, we're almost down at ref speed, you can see here. It's looking pretty good. Should be getting minimum soon, but we could do a visual. But I'm pretty sure you've seen, if you watched a couple of my other videos, you've seen a couple of my bad landings. So let's go with a good one this time around. Oops. Let's get outside here. We're coming in. Welcome to Sydney.
50, 40, 30, 20.
And we're going to full auto land. It's in a flare. Get ready for this. We'll touch down. Okay, the auto brakes are on. Nose is down. Apply some left rudder. Reverses are on. And get to 80 knots. And reverses off. Okay, we want to taxi to the next exit. Let's... there's probably an easy way to do that actually. Let's get our flaps up. Oops. Disable the speed brakes. Okay. Let's tune the ground. Taxi to the gate. Alright, I can turn these runway lights on, leave the taxi lights on. Got most of our lights on. We'll turn this back to ground. Turn the Apu Bleed back on. Turn the progressive taxi on because I have no idea where I'm going. Turn that off. Flaps are up. Speed brakes are disarmed. Auto brakes are disarmed. And let's taxi. Okay, so we're almost home. We're about to pull up, drop our passengers off. This is the default airport, but it's actually suffering quite bad in terms of frame rates. And I'm going way too fast. But yeah, it is what it is. Frame rates are kind of sucking right now, but we're just going to pull up right here and hope for the best. See. Okay, I'm going to put my brake on. Brakes, that's there. Let's jump up here. We can turn off taxi lights now, and can actually get the Apu Bleed is on already. Turn off these generators here. APU is already on. Then we can kill the engines here. I don't know if this is the correct. Let's turn off the engines. We can run on APU. These are all good. Let's just do that, maybe. And yeah, so there you go. Do we have our yaw damper off the whole time? Maybe that disabled on its own. I'm pretty sure I had that turned on. We can turn all this stuff off and all that good stuff. But anyway, there it is. That's the PMDG. Terrible parking. I'm sure someone's going to comment on that, so help yourself. That is the PMDG 737 NGX. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Tell me what you think. It was a bit of a challenge with that ATC, but I want to start doing that to get ready for some VATSIM or one of the other online networks. But VATSIM's probably the most likely. Australian time really doesn't go well with Pilot Edge when I'm working at a full-time job. If I wasn't working a full-time job, if I was doing YouTube as a full-timer, I'd be able to do Pilot Edge, but it is not going to be Pilot Edge for the time being. Okay everyone, well thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave any comments in the comment section, and happy to have a chat. Always look forward to that, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great week, and catch you then. Bye.